Hey, it's Couch Potato doing another video. So, yes, I'm wearing the same shirt as the last video. I'm doing these back to back, but I'm just making this one so I can put it out next week in case I get busy. But anyway, let's get into it. This is a topic I just thought of, and I wanted to discuss it a little bit. I'm sure others have the same type of feeling, but these are video games that I have played in my childhood or teen years, but have not played since. And I would love to play them again. And I know some of them I could play again if I really wanted to, or all of them probably. It's just I don't own them, or I haven't tracked them down. I haven't had a chance to play them. But these are games that I used to play growing up, and now I haven't played them since, but I would love to play them now. And I know they might not have aged well at all, or they might suck today, but I remember having a fun time playing them, and I really enjoyed doing that. So I'll start with the first one. It is Diablo 2. Diablo 2 sucked up so much of my life. I don't remember how old I was, but I was either like a tween or a teen when Diablo 2 was out, and I had so much fun grinding, crawling through dungeons, trying to pick up set armor, and using the Heraldric Cube and all that stuff. Man, that game was so fun. It was probably the best dungeon crawler ever made, even to this day. I know Diablo 3 has been getting a lot of support and love, but Diablo 2 is where it's at for dungeon crawlers. You cannot come close to it. It's the best dungeon crawler ever made. It was so fun, and everyone was playing it at the time that it was out. And I'm sure there's still people that play it online. I'm sure there's a dedicated community for Diablo 2 because it's just that good of a game. It's fantastic. And then the expansion to it just set it over the top as well. So awesome with the added runes and everything like that. But I want to play it again. I wish that Blizzards would remaster it and bring it out on like Xbox One or PS4. I don't understand why Diablo 2 has not gotten a remaster at this point. It needs to be done. You would sell so many copies, Blizzard, and so many people would buy it. Old fans of it, as well as new people who have never played it before. It would just be a fantastic game. If you could put Diablo 3 on Xbox One and PS4, you can put Diablo 2 remastered on both systems as well. It would just be incredible to have, polished up graphics with the same exact gameplay and everything. It would just be a fantastic game, and people who are returning to it would be thrilled as well, because maybe you haven't played it in a long time like me, and you don't remember all the levels and all the stuff that's in the game. So it would be like you're experiencing it for the first time again. And then as you're playing, it might get triggered in your mind, like, oh yeah, I remember this. Just be an excellent experience. And I don't understand how there's remasters of all these games coming out, but Diablo 2, the best dungeon crawler ever made, for some reason is not getting a remaster. Blizzard, you need to step your game up, because we have Titan Quest came out not too long after Diablo 2, from what I can remember, and Titan Quest is on Xbox One. So if they can do that, come on, Blizzard, put Diablo 3 onto new consoles. Or even if you just remaster it and put it on PC, I'll be there day one buying it. So that's the first game. Second game, people might not know this game. It was kind of under the radar. I don't even know if it was that good of a game, but I remember playing it and we had a lot of fun with it. And there was one soundtrack on there that really had us laughing as kids, me and my brother and friends and stuff like that. There was one track on there that this lady, it sounded like a grandma, and she just kept yelling in the background, "He smokes crack, he smokes crack." But the game was called Beatdown, and it's a little known game. If you're old like me, you might remember it, but it was basically like a gang warfare type game. You had to like join a gang and prove yourself and take out other gangs, and it was like a third person isometric view, and you just ran around this town and you know beat down people and normal gang stuff. It was just, I remember playing it and loving it, and it was really fun, and I just wish that I could have access to it. I don't have an old PC, and I doubt it's available anywhere else. You might be able to download a ROM of it. I don't know. I'm not that tech savvy, but Beatdown was definitely a computer game that I spent a lot of time playing. It was just really fun. I just remember the first mob boss or the gang boss that you had to fight was like a big dude, or it might have been a woman, and you had to run in there and take her out. But just a fun game. And that one track with the grandma screaming, "He smokes crack," it was just too much. And being a teen, it was awesome. It was up there with like when I played Postal for the first time, or that game with the redneck, like Hillbilly something, where you're a redneck running around, first person shooter. I forget the name of that game. If you remember that game, comment below. But you were like a redneck and you just ran around blasting stuff, and it was just a funny game. I remember a period in the 90s where they would come out with just crazy stuff like that. But yeah, Beatdown, definitely a game I want to play again. So then we get to the very first video game I ever played. I'm pretty sure this was the first video game I ever played, and it was on the PC, but I played it on, I think it was a compact Vasario. We're big back in the day, and it was on a 3.5-inch hard disk. It was Commander Keen. It's like a platformer game. You're like this little kid who like crashed in a spaceship. I'm just going off memory. I don't really know exactly what the storyline is, but I guess your spaceship crashed and you're trying to get back home or something like that. But it was a platformer, Commander Keen, and I don't know if you remember. If you're old enough, you probably do. But the 3.5-inch hard disks came after the 5-inch floppy disk, which is like a square, piece of plastic that you stuck in a slot in the computer tower, and it played the game. And I remember it having like 5 hard disk things to load Commander Keen, and back then that was a normal thing. Like floppy disks and hard disks, you had to use a ton of them to put the game on the computer. Sometimes it was like 5 to 8 or maybe even 10 hard disk or floppy disk for it to play the game entirely. So when you would get to a section of the game, it would say eject this hard disk and put in hard disk B or whatever. And just remember playing Commander Keen and really enjoying it. I would love to go back and play it again. I think they either remastered it, or they're going to remaster it for the Nintendo Switch, or it's on the eShop or something. So if that's true, I think I heard that, but if it's true, I'm definitely going to hit it up because I want to play. Or maybe they're making a new Commander Keen. I heard something about it, but yeah, I definitely want to play that. And then so next we have Rise Star for Sega Genesis. Sega Genesis, like I said, is my childhood. I grew up with it. It's what I remember the most fondly. And I remember playing Rise Star. It was a very good platformer game. The only downside is to get it now, I guess I could ROM it, but I don't really like doing that. But I could ROM it. But the Sega Genesis version of it is pretty expensive right now. I just don't feel like spending the money. I'm at the point where I am thinking about getting rid of my Genesis game, so to buy another one that's expensive would be kind of silly to me. But maybe I will have to ROM it just so I can experience it again. I know there's a version on Game Gear that was pretty good, but and I do have a working Game Gear actually, which is surprising because most of them stopped working. The caps burn out on them or whatever, but maybe I'll have to hunt that down just so I can play it again. But Rise Star is definitely a game I remember. Fun platformer. You're like a star, and you have like stretchy arms, and you do crazy flips and stuff. I don't know, but it was a really fun platformer game, and I haven't played it since I was a kid, so I would love to do that again. And then next we have Warcraft 2. Warcraft 2, another fantastic game on the lines of Diablo 2, in my opinion. It's probably one of the best real time strategy games that I can remember playing. I'm sure there's others out there. I haven't played a whole bunch of that genre. I'm not really into the whole real time strategy. I remember Age of Empires 2 was really awesome. And I heard that's getting remastered and put back on the Switch. So if that happens, I'm there day one. Age of Empires was awesome. But Warcraft 2 is a game that I have not played since I was a teen, and I would love to be able to play it. And I just remember how fun it was to build your base and go storm the enemy base, and just some of the things. I always played as the orcs because they would always say funny things, and it was just fun when you told them to go do something. They'd be like globe globe or whatever, and it was just funny and very. It was a very well done game, and it could be challenging if you let it, but you could definitely. It wasn't like unfair. It was just an excellent game, and I remember playing a ton of it. So Warcraft 2, and I'm actually kind of sad that Warcraft switched over into the MMO type of thing. Obviously they made a ton of money off of it, so it was a good idea for them, but I really wish they would go back to the real-time strategy type. That's what I remember as being Warcraft and Warcraft 2, and I just love how the base building was in that. I remember playing Command and Conquer, which was fun too, but just the fantasy realm of Warcraft is what drew me into that game specifically because, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of base building type games. It's just not my thing. So when they switched over, just wasn't for me. So Warcraft 2, and then there was another game that I was thinking of, but I can't remember it right now. So I'll just end the video at that. Comment below with any games that you used to play as a kid and you wish you could play again, but you just haven't got around to it, or you can't afford to, or whatever. Just comment below what game you would like to play that you remember playing back when you were a kid. One love.